Let me know. Let me do a mic check first. Oh, and give me a second. I need to reconnect real quick to 1 second. Oh, crap. How did I miss that? All right. Dang. I'm at home, so it's taking me a while, to figure out. It's not my normal studio. Give me a second. Give me a second, yo. Okay. Can everybody hear me well? Can you hear me, guys? Let's do a mic check. If you can hear me, wave. Let me know where you're joining from if you can hear me. And let me know, is it snowy? Is it icy over there? Is it sleety? Is there sleet? Is it icy? Oh, I did a play on words today, and I said we were talking about ICE, the organization, and ICE. You get it? ICE and ICE. So yeah. So yeah. In my previous life, I was a rapper. Hi guys, as you can tell, I'm in a great mood, and I'm ready to talk today. So go ahead and invite your friend. Any friends, anyone you know needs to be a part of this conversation, would need this information, go ahead and invite them, because we are going to talk about a lot. And then I do plan on answering a lot of questions today, because I'm not in the office, and so I have time. All right. So I plan on answering lots and lots of questions, and I plan on answering only one question per person. So if it's calmer today with 11 degrees of snow, whoa, where are you, in Canada or like Michigan or somewhere? Where exactly are you for you guys to have? Do you mean 11 degrees and then there's snow? Okay, I get what you're saying. But where exactly is that? Anyway, so I plan on answering lots and lots of questions. So go ahead and invite your friends, your enemies. Because once I start answering questions, it always happens that more and more people want to ask questions at the time, and then I've got to jump off. So I really don't want a situation where I've got to jump off and then I didn't get to answer your question properly. For those who on Facebook, it is a bit dark in here, right? I don't know how I can get the light better over here, but I sure hope you guys can see me. If you can't see me well, at least you can just hear me. But the lighting, I'm very sure it's better on IG, because that's on a different. I have that on a different device. So if you want to jump over on IG, if you're watching from Facebook, jump over on IG. All right, guys. So we're gonna start talking. So go ahead and invite your friends, your frenemies, your church folks. I don't know. You're the people you play soccer with. I'm trying to think all the things you do. The people you go out to movies with. Everybody, invite them, because we're gonna have some great talks today. So first thing I want to talk about today is ICE, or maybe I should talk about that last, because that's probably the most interesting conversation. Yeah, IG, the lighting is really good. I'm not sure what can I do about this lighting. I don't have an extra lamp here. I don't know what I could do to get that light better. 1 second, guys. It's still dark. Okay. All right, guys, we'll just go make it quick. All right, so I'm gonna start talking about. We're gonna finish talking about ICE. We're gonna actually finish with ICE, because I was gonna start with that, but I want to make sure everybody's there before I talk about that. So let's talk about current updates. I don't know if you guys paid attention, or if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the news. Also, if you just also follow other immigration lawyers. But of course, right now, the big hot topic is the changes in law. And I just kind of want to start there, and then we'll talk about ICE, like the organization, not the ICE. Okay, we'll talk about the organization ICE and how to protect yourself in case someone knocks on your door. So that's still a big concern, and it's continuing and growing. It's a growing concern, especially with the new changes. It's a growing concern for lots and lots of people. Even for people who are U.S. citizens right now, even U.S. citizens are afraid. I'm not sure why, but right now even U.S. citizens are afraid. So we are going to talk about that closer towards the end. All right. So as a brief summary, my name is Elizabeth Wafula. All right. I'm also known as Val Queen, dancing lawyer. And actually, my very first nickname for social media, I've been doing lives probably about 8-9 years, right? And this is my 11th year of practice. I started doing lives pretty much about a year into practice. I think maybe we'll say about 10 years or so. I've been doing lives. I started doing lives on Facebook talking about immigration matters long time ago, before it was even popular. The only other person that was doing lives at the time I was doing them was one of my mentors, and she serves a different demographic, but she was already doing lives even before and so then I just kind of jumped on the wagon. And when I was doing lives, I didn't even know about her. Okay, so it was after I started doing lives that we now connected. Okay, so I'm a huge believer of doing lives and talking about things and just being approachable. All right, it's something that I've done for a very long time, and that's why I still make time to do lives. Okay, so I developed the name Val Queen because over time I became one of the pioneer people, one of the pioneer immigration lawyers, or should I say the pioneer immigration lawyer for people of you speaking about Val, okay, to people of color, in other words, to especially the Caribbean and African community. Okay, so that's how I got nicknamed Val Queen. Before that, the nickname that I had was your favorite immigration lawyer. Okay. All right. And sometime in between that, I got the nickname Dancing Lawyer. So I used to dance a lot on social media. Maybe one day I'll resurrect that. Lately I haven't danced a while, but I can move a bone or two. Okay. I can move a little bit. So those are my nicknames. Now, although my nickname is Val Queen, I handle much more than Val cases. All right. So these are the cases I handle. All right. Some of you may not know, but originally, my original case type, the first thing I ever learned to do and do really well, probably, other than adjustment of status through marriage, other than green card through marriage cases, was asylum. I did asylum for a long time, and I did asylum at a very high level, and I did asylum on a very difficult level. What do I mean by that? So I was doing asylum cases when I first, as a new lawyer, as a baby lawyer, I was doing asylum cases for Haitians that were stuck, that were caught at the border and detained. So some years back, there was a mass exodus of Haitians from Brazil. Some years back, there was issues with the Haitian system, and people's needs weren't being met. So Brazil welcomed them and opened their arms and said, hey, you can come here. We'll give you asylum. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. But the only problem is Brazil didn't anticipate how many people needed that help or how many Haitians they were going to end up having to cater for. So once all these Haitians got to Brazil, what I'm telling you is a real fact, by the way, you can look it up. Once they got to Brazil, Brazil had a crackdown. Literally, they could not handle that many Haitians. So what the Haitians started to do is that they began to flee, and they began to come to the United States on boat, in any way they could get themselves over. They came to the U.S. and came in through the border. Okay, so there was a mass exodus. In other words, a mass exodus now of Haitians coming into the border. This is now, I can't remember, 6, 7, 8 years ago now. They came in, and once they were at the border, there were too many, in the common borders, like too many coming in through Texas to California, and so they had to trickle them. They had to move some of them over down south to close to where I am, which is the Mason, Tennessee detention center. So if you're familiar with Memphis, Tennessee, you know that we have a detention center called Mason. Mason is about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. All right. And it's where if someone is, at least back then, I'm not sure about now, if someone is detained by ICE for a long time, they'll take them. If they're down here and they're not going up there, in other words, they'll take them to the Mason Detention Center. So at this time, I was a new immigration lawyer. And so I needed cases. And so I just started to go. Other lawyers were telling me, hey, we need lawyers to represent these Haitians. And so that's kind of how I got my experience doing asylum cases. So although my name is Val Queen, I'm really actually I'm a beast on asylum cases. Like asylum taught me how to lawyer, literally. Like, because I was there every day. I was representing detained people, and they couldn't really pay much, by the way, if they paid at all. So a lot of their work was free, honestly. A lot of their work was pro bono, and I was using my own money. But I learned a lot. So technically, the kinds of cases we typically do are asylum, green card through marriage cases. We also do VAWA based on marital problems or abuse. Okay. But VAWA came much, much later. I was already lawyering for a while before I even started to do VAWA. Okay. My real probably first cases were green card through marriage cases and asylum cases. All right. And then now last year we started to take T visa cases, and then also O visa cases, which I'll tell you a little bit more about here shortly. But those are for those with extraordinary ability. So if you know someone who's very, very talented in something and top 10 of their field, it could be acting, music. It could be like a PhD program academically, but they're at the top 10% in their field nationally or internationally. That kind of person can actually petition for themselves and get a green card through what's called an O visa. An O visa. An O visa is a non-immigrant visa. It's a temporary visa, but it does give you the ability at some point now to apply for a green card and get a green card. Remember last week there was a ban, not a ban, a 75 countries suspension that was passed. And remember that suspension does not apply to visas like O visas. It does not apply to, in other words, temporary visas. Any non-immigrant visa is not covered by that 75 country suspension that was passed last year. Hey, Nappy Dreads, how you doing? Okay, so I'm just giving you a context of the kinds of things that we do. All right, now at this particular time, what kind of cases are we taking? We're taking green card through marriage cases. All right, I told you that's what I started with. I also told you I started with asylum cases. Right now, I'm not taking any asylum cases, unfortunately, but I just had an interview, very good interview, an asylum interview last week for a case that I filed in 2018, I believe. 2017 is when. And we had the interview scheduled last week. So somebody remind me and I'll tell y'all about that at the end. Okay, but right now I'm not taking any new asylum cases, although we're still handling some of our asylum cases that we've had. And then I also take, of course, VAWA cases based on this situation where you're married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, and the marriage is now toxic. We help you get a 10-year green card through the toxicity. We don't advise that you divorce your spouse, leave your spouse, or anything. Okay, but if generally you enter the marriage, again, get this, you generally enter the marriage because you love the person. You enter the marriage for the right reasons, and it has resulted in a toxic relationship. Then you could call me and we could talk about getting a green card through marriage. I hear already some people saying, how do I know it's real? Well, I've been doing this for a while, so I catch most people. Okay, so I'm very good at trying to make sure we only take the cases for those who genuinely enter the marriage for real reasons, and then it's gone toxic. Y'all like my hoodie, by the way. All right. And then also this year we'll be taking O visa cases. Those are for extraordinary ability, top 10%. If you know a person who's an immigrant, who's the top 10% in their IT field, engineering, name it, in a professional setting, or top 10 as an actor, top 10 athlete, top 10% in national or internationally, top 10% athlete, actor, actress, even plastic surgeon. Top 10% in engineering, IT, name it. Top 10%. And I mean, they have awards that can prove this. They have received maybe a one-time achievement like a Nobel Peace Prize, or some of these awards that are given to people who have, or like the CNN Heroes Award. If you know someone like that, top 10% in their field, receive something like a Nobel Peace Prize, CNN Heroes Award, or has received, I don't know, I can't remember any of these awards, or has received a gold in the Olympics. Okay, top 10% athlete. Okay, top 10% actor, actress, just top 10% in any field, but top 10%, and it's documentable with awards they've gotten, with their salary. Their salary itself shows that they're at the top 10%. The opportunities they get shows that they are top 10%. They are part of some sort of organization that is only for the top 10%. They belong to, they have judged, they judge their peers because they're considered to be at the top 10%. That kind of person could qualify for a visa, and we'll be taking those this year as well. So in summary, we do green card through marriage cases for those who are in a genuine, solid relationship. I told you I started off with those cases. Generally, we usually do asylum cases for people who have fled their home country due to something they cannot easily change about themselves, such as race, nationality, such as female genital mutilation, sexual orientation, political violence, things like those. A lot of things that are going on in the world where people are being persecuted, like in North Korea right now. Christians are being persecuted. I think I heard something about India. Christians are now being persecuted. Any of those types of people, when they come to the U.S., they could have a good asylum cases. Right now, I'm not taking those kinds of cases, but generally, we do take asylum cases. I'll let you know when I start taking those again. All right. And I told you at the end that I'll talk to you about one that I handled last week for a case that we filed in 2018, 2017. All right. Also do vow cases for those who genuinely enter the marriage. You loved this person, but the problems, the toxicity have grown to an intolerable level. Then we could help you get a green card. We don't help you get a divorce or even advise that. That's your own personal decision, but we can help you get a green card based on that. And then I've already now just discussed O visas that we'll be taking those. And then, of course, let me not forget, last year we started taking T visas. That's been an awesome avenue for a lot of our people. Just a quick note, a lot of people who qualify for VOW also qualify for T visa, because for T visa, it doesn't matter who per se abused you or took advantage of you. For T visa, if someone has taken advantage of your immigration status and made you do things against your will, either sexually or labor-wise, they made you do labor or commercial sex or any type of sexual activity against your will, and the only reason you did it was because of your immigration status, you could get a green card through that. That's called T visa. So we started doing that last year, and it's been an awesome, tremendous help for us. And in fact, it's been a tremendous help even for those who would either normally qualify for VAWA and sometimes even T visa. So in other words, in a marital setting, it could happen in a marital setting, it can happen in an employment setting, where a person makes you do sexual favors or makes you do sell drugs, makes you do things that are illegal. All right. And the only reason you do it is because they have something over you. They're threatening you one way or another to get you deported. They're threatening your family back home, something like that. If you or someone you know is like that, we could help you get a green card through T visa. This again can happen in the employment setting. It can also happen at home, in a partnership setting, a marital setting, really name it. So T visa is very wide. It has a wide net, and it's been very helpful in helping people get green cards. So I'm starting off discussing options, because honestly, actually, the next thing I'm going to go to, I said I'll talk about it last, but we're going to go there. Let's talk about ICE. I saw a trending video on TikTok about this. I saw on TikTok a guy, very slender guy. I think he was Hispanic descent. ICE knocked on his door. So you know you have two doors in the US. Sorry, give me a second, guys. In the US, you often have two doors. You have the main door and you have a screen door. So the guy, I'm talking about something I saw on TikTok. You may have already seen if you're on TikTok. The guy opened the doors, well, the first door, and left the screen door open. And then he recorded it. He had someone recording the transaction between him and the ICE officer. So the ICE officer was of a different race than him, is all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to say anymore. The ICE officer was a different race and much bigger than this guy. So I told you this guy was Hispanic descent, very slender. And then the ICE officer was this big guy. And the ICE officer immediately said, hey, I'm looking for Mr. I'm just going to use any name. Okay, this is not the name of the guy, but he's just said, hey, I'm looking for Mr. Rodriguez. And he's like, okay, well, do you have a warrant? So I'm just going to narrate what happened. He said, do you have a warrant? And the guy said, you're wasting my time. I'm gonna break down this door. You could make this really easy, or you could make it hard. It's exactly kind of what he said. You can make this real easy. You can make this hard. You could open this door, okay, or I'm gonna break down this door. And he was talking like, he's like, I'm gonna break down this door. If you don't open this door, I'm gonna break down this door. That kind of thing. Anyway, conversation ensued back and forth, and the guy just stuck to his guns. The slender guy just stuck to his guns and kept saying, no, you know what? I need to see a warrant before you can come in. I have a right to my own privacy, my own home. All right. He didn't, and he kept just saying every question that the ICE officer was asking, real big guy was asking him that. He just kept saying, I'm not answering any questions. I have a right to speak to a lawyer. And you need to get a warrant. Everything the ICE officer was saying, the guy just stuck to his guns. I'm talking about real slender guy. I'm talking about slim compared to the ICE officer. He was like, I'm not answering any questions. I want to speak to my lawyer. I have a right to speak to my lawyer, and you need a warrant. On top of this, I need to add that the ICE officer, there were, I think, about 2 or 3 other ones on the steps, so you could see that the ICE officer wasn't by himself. But regardless, this dude, I just saw him kind of like regather himself, maintain composure, and stick to his guns. And guess what? As time went, it was just like a minute conversation. As time went, the ICE officer now said, you know what? Okay, I'll be back with a warrant. And, you know, he said, all right, then I'm going to come back with a warrant. He stopped saying, I'm going to come back with a warrant and break down this door. He just said, okay, I'm going to come back with a warrant. So that right there to me showed me that, hey, look, it's just like what they taught you in church. Or I mean, I don't know if you ever went to church, but we're going to go to church. The devil knows who he plays with. Like, if you know your rights, he's got to respect that. That ICE officer, he went from really high-pitched, really threatening tone to calm. Okay, I'm going to do what you say. I'm going to come back with a warrant. So I don't follow this guy, so I haven't found out whether the ICE officer came back with a warrant. I'm willing to bet he didn't come back with no warrant. Half these detentions, half these busts they do have, you know, are unconstitutional. Half of them, they have no warrant. They're just counting on your fear. They're counting on the fact that, you know, right now, all hell has broken loose. Chaos is the new norm, and you're not going to challenge it, and you're not going to stick to your guns. So my point is, if ICE comes to the door, you need to say the exact same thing. Stick to the exact same script. Hey, I don't have to open my door. Hey, I'm about to make this easy or make it the hard way. I'm about to break down this door. Well, let me just tell you something. I've known people who actually did commit big crimes. If they really did have something against you, they wouldn't be talking to you. If they really had a warrant, or if it was really like, if you had really done something really big, let me tell you who would be coming after you. It wouldn't be ICE, it would be FBI. If it's not the FBI at the door, you haven't done, most likely, you haven't really committed a crime. If it's not the FBI at the door, and first of all, FBI wouldn't even be talking to you. FBI would really just bust down that door. They would have a warrant for you. Okay. So the fact that they're talking to you already tells me they don't have a warrant. So you stick to your guns. You tell them, hey, no, I'm not letting you come in without a warrant. You stick to your guns. You tell them, hey, I have a right to speak to my lawyer, and I'm calling my lawyer. You stick to your guns and you tell them, hey, no, you need a warrant. It needs to be signed by a judge before they can come in. All right. So that's the bit on ice. Now let's talk about what everybody wants to hear about. And then I'm going to answer these questions. Last week, there was 75 countries that were added on this suspension. If you haven't been following me, it's just about two posts from today. So you can go and you can see I've broken down the 75 countries, so many countries spanning from Asia, Africa, Arabic countries, basically all over. 75 countries have now been put on a ban for green card applications outside the US. Again, 75 countries have now been put on not a ban, let's say on a suspension, okay, for green card applications that were filed outside the US. In other words, that's called consular processing. Okay, this does not apply to any temporary visas. So these are just permanent green card applications filed outside the US by for a family member. Okay, think of it that way. So if you were trying to file any application for a family member, and you're from one of these 75 countries, or the person you're filing for, better yet, is from one of these 75 countries. Okay, that application right now is suspended. Okay, it's not like that they wouldn't accept the application, but in other words, those applications, those are the ones that are suspended. I'm sorry, give me a second. Those are the applications that are suspended. So that doesn't apply to any type of temporary visa. So a tourist visa is a temporary visa. So that ban doesn't apply to a tourist visa. It doesn't apply to a student visa. Tourist visas B1, B2 typically. Tourist or business visa B1 or B2 visa is not covered by the 75 suspension list. Okay, it's not student visas, F1 student visas, or any derivatives, F2, F3, those types of visas are not covered. Fiancé visa should probably not be covered. I don't think so, because I have to double check. Okay. Then J1 training visa is not covered. A J1 training visa is not covered. Fiancé visa should not be covered, by the way. Sorry, that's correct. A fiancé visa should not be covered. That's a temporary visa, so you should be okay filing for a fiancé visa. All right. Student J1 already covered F1 student visas. J1 training visa. J1 training visas. All right. These are typically for doctors or some specific professions. They get a 6-year training visa. And usually they put those ones already have a restriction anyway. Usually in about 6 years, you have to go back for 2 years and come back, unless they didn't put that on the visa. But J1 visas already anyway have, in other words, a lot of restrictions on them. So, but J1 visas are not covered by that ban. Okay, O1 visas, what I told you that we'll be taking this year for top 10% athletes, doctors, lawyers, top 10% plastic surgeons, top 10% engineers, IT professionals, name it. Anybody who's in top 10% of their field, and is documentable with prizes, with awards, with the salary they make, with opportunities, with mentorship opportunities, with judgeship opportunities they've had, and is documented. Those are O1 visas. Those are temporary visas. That's not covered by the 775 suspension ban. So in other words, they're just trying to restrict the limited applications, not limited, the applications, they are limiting their scope, let's put it that way, to green card applications that were filed outside the US. Okay, again, this is for green card applications filed outside of the US. All right. it's called consular processing. All right, so that covers, so that's what was passed last week, and that's 75 countries. Though, of course, Jamaica is on there, Nigeria is on there, Tanzania on there, Burkina Faso, Laos, and some other countries. All right. All right. If you missed my live, I'm going to say what I said last week. Of course, now this is combining. So this one is covering something else, while the travel ban that was passed last year in June and extended in December, which passed January 1st. That extended travel ban that covers, again, countries like Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Tanzania, Senegal, that travel ban limits applications filed inside the US. So that one limits green card applications filed inside the US. The 75 ban list limits green card applications filed outside the US. This one limits applications inside the US. The other one limited applications outside the US. When you put these two things together, you can see things are really changing. And in other words, what does that say? File your application today. File it today, because immigration lawyers, not just me, I've been telling you for years, hey, get your application filed, get your application filed. Things are changing. Y'all ain't listening. I just really hope you don't wait to a situation where now you have no options for filing anything for anybody. All right, so I'm gonna start taking questions now, guys. If you want me to answer any questions or anything I've discussed, or anything that's bothering you, or any question about ICE, or about immigration, or about these new policies, even about asylum, I'll answer just one question up at a time. Any questions, guys? Did you guys share the video? I asked y'all to share this video, and I'm just saying, did y'all share? Or y'all being stingy? Okay. If you want to ask a question, you can come live. You can always, just like I told you last week, you could cover some people come live, show their faces. Some people don't. Some people turn their camera off and come live, or turn their camera to face the wall. You can do whatever you want to do, but the general rule is I only answer questions that are asked on live. It helps. It just helps with, engage. It just helps make it more engaging than me reading your question. And plus, sometimes it's hard to read these questions and answer at the same time. Let me eat my fruits as I wait. Okay. Any questions, guys? I'll only be here another 5 minutes if there's no questions. If no one is coming live to ask any questions, you don't have to show your face. Okay. Find the creative ways you can hide your face if you want. Okay. We just need to hear your voice, in other words. Any questions, guys? Going once? Going twice? Okay. There we go. Hello? If you have questions, you can come live and ask them. You can jump on my Instagram, come live and ask them. All right. All right. Let me add 1 or 2 more people here. Give me a second. Okay, good. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Can a person who is in the process of sorting out their green card through VAWA get visit a graduation ceremony like for the Army?
Where is the ceremony? In a different city or state?
It's in South Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. So it's in the same city as you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think as long as you have a real ID, as long as you have a driver's license, you should be able to travel. But
the person got a combo card.
What I'm telling you Is that the Real ID Act just passed last year, I believe. Call the airlines and make sure that they'll let you get in. But I think you need to have a driver's license. You have a valid driver's license?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to travel. But I always just say, of course, I'm not going to give you any legal advice right now, number one. Number two, you will just travel at your own risk. You will travel at your own risk.
I wanted to ask
So
that
only
I
go.
got my EAD, but I didn't get my advance
Hello.
travel.
Only go if you're sure. Okay? All right? Just travel at your own risk, but you should be fine. Okay? Hello?
Because somebody was telling me that to check with a lawyer, because you have to whenever they submit your information to attend, they're gonna send your information to ICE to do background check, or to USCIS for background check.
No, I ain't heard of that now. But anyway, here. It looks like you have more questions. What you need to do is call me tomorrow and schedule a consultation, okay? Our office closed early today because of the weather. All right? Wait, that's even the wrong number. Shoot, I 1 second. I messed up on one of those details.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I got my EAD on November, but I applied on 26 September of 2024. So I didn't get my advance payroll for traveling. So what I supposed to do?
You applied December 2024?
Yeah, 26, 27 September 2024.
Okay, so I talked about that on my live last week. I was saying that things have slowed down a bit from ICE. Not from ICE, from USF.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get any updates. I got only EAD on November of 2025.
Did you get a receipt notice?
Sorry?
When you filed for work, what are we talking about? Your work permit application?
Yeah, I applied for the WAWA. I got work permit. I didn't get my combo card. I got separate. So I didn't get my advance payroll traveling card.
Okay, but did you get a receipt notice is what I was asking you?
It's still, I got only case has updated on fingerprint is showing that.
Sorry, you're not answering me directly in a second. That's a long time. My question is, did you get a receipt notice? Yes or no from USCIS?
No.
Receipt notice. Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about that. Do you mind giving me a call? Call my office, schedule a conversation, and I can see how I can help you, okay?
Okay. So is that possible to approve from your side? So I will make your call to you.
Is it do you mind just scheduling a consultation, please?
Is that possible to approve from your side, because I don't know what's going on. My advocate is also not picking up the call.
So I'd like to help you. Just schedule a consultation, okay? My phone number is at the bottom. Call tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Let me see. All right. Okay, I'm taking 3 more questions. So if you want to come live, now is the time. Jump over to Instagram. Put Val Queen. Ask come live.
Hello.
Hi. What y'all know about Mandazis?
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
I have a question. My friend, he's your client, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And currently, he's back in Africa.
Okay.
And on advanced parole.
Okay.
What's the possibility he's gonna be back by this weekend?
So ma'am, you know I can't answer this question, right?
Oh.
Tell your friend to reach out to me directly, number 1. And number 2, chances are we already spoke with him. Okay?
You already, sorry?
Chances are we already spoke. Let your friend reach out directly, please.
From Africa?
No, he can reach out. Yes, ma'am. From Africa. Yes, we have technology. He can reach out.
Let me share this live video with him though.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
I definitely can't answer any question on behalf of somebody else. Okay.
All right, take me down.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do two more questions here. All right. Mm. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
I saw the waiting list. It's like more right now because when I first started with you,
Mm-hmm.
it was supposed to be 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and this now I see like the VAWA process take more than 3 years. So do you know like how long we have to wait until like?
No. Honestly, I never know how long each case takes. Some cases take less time. Some cases go really fast. Some cases go really slow. I honestly have no idea.
Okay, so do you know anything about the policy at the DMV right now? Because I
Okay.
was trying to renew my license
Okay.
with the combo code that I have, and then they said I cannot renew it because I don't have a green card, but it's not my driver's license, it's my CDL license.
Okay. So, ma'am, in the beginning, I said I'll only answer one question a person. Do you mind scheduling a consultation for the rest of your questions?
I did call today, but there was nobody at the office.
No, we are open. We are open till 3 o'clock. So, my question is, do you mind calling tomorrow? Maybe
No problem then.
we close at 3.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. I think we'll just do one more question now, guys. Hmm. Hmm. There we go. Okay, there it goes. It's popping up. No. Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Good.
I'm good. So
Mhm.
I posted a question on your the live. I got a green card, expired with an extension.
Mm-hmm.
My dad just recently passed away last week, and I have to go home for the funeral.
Yeah.
What do you advise?
Honestly, right now we have a no travel policy for every immigrant, to be honest. And then, do you mind me asking where you're from?
Nigeria?
Especially for Nigeria, we are really not advising to go. But I do understand there's emergencies. So, and by the way, this is not legal advice. When I speak on live, this is not legal advice. Don't go and say, "Oh, a full advisory." Okay, we don't have a client relationship. Okay, so that being said, um, I mean, we understand that emergencies happen. So I typically say to my clients, okay, if you have a big emergency, you got to go, you got to go. Then, in other words, if you have to go, it needs to be something that you can justify. If something happened, you need to be able to justify to yourself that you had to go at this time. If you cannot justify that, then I would stay home. And the other thing I always say is that you always have to be able to do like what your faith can carry. If you're already fearing that they're gonna get you, I've been practicing now 11 years. I've seen this happen so many times. Whatever you think is gonna happen, to be honest with you, is exactly what's gonna happen. So if you feel like you're gonna have a problem coming back in, I would. Well, I'm not gonna say anymore. Just pay attention to your fears, or if you already have fears that you're gonna get stuck. Um, I don't know, and it's honestly a different question. I don't want to say more.
Thank you. I love you're a woman of faith, and that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. I don't really want to say, well, you trying to make me give you advice. Very deadly advice. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me do these other two people. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
I think I have an issue with the immigration office. Then I was being issued a letter because my wife wasn't trying to go with me to the appointment.
Okay. So what's your question now?
Huh?
I'm waiting for the part where you ask the question.
I said my wife wasn't trying to go with me to the appointment.
Okay. So where's your question? Question? What's the question?
So they sent a letter from the immigration office. But my case is pending right now due to the fact that I didn't go to the appointment.
I've got everything you're saying. I just don't hear any questions. I don't know what to say. Okay. Maybe you want to think about your question. My phone number is at the bottom. You can give me a call, okay?
Okay.
Not right now.
Hello?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good.
So I have a question. Like I've been contemplating on if I should file for VAWA or I should just file for I think what is it called? A B-12. What is it called?
Hello? Looks like the guy's phone got stuck. Hello? Hello?
Do you hear me?
Okay, now you're back.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like stuck in between. Should I go ahead and file through VAWA or should I do the EB2 application? And I was trying to see, if I'm to file for VAWA, will you be able? If you're to represent me, do you think you'll be able to give me travel documents to travel back to Uganda somewhere around September this year or not?
I have to remember. I can't remember off head, but I don't know if is Uganda. I'd have to check. I can't remember if Uganda is one of the 75 countries. Is it? Do you know?
I didn't see it on it. I didn't see it on, but
let me check real quick.
I could be wrong.
I don't think it is either. I don't remember seeing it.
But there's
secondly, I don't know if you heard the questions I've been answering already. I told the guy that for all immigrants, I'm really not advising that we travel this year, especially or anytime soon, unless you have an emergency. So even with a travel permit, that's usually my general advice is it's got to be a worth it trip for you to leave the U.S. right now.
Okay.
Yes, as part of our applications, we do file for travel permit for sure. As to whether you should do EB1 or EB2, EB2 or VAWA case, that's a consultation question. So if you call me, we can discuss the two options.
Okay.
And I'll let you know. But just right off the bat, if you apply for both, if you qualify for both, you could do both. If you can afford both.
I could do both.
If you can afford both, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the price is something that you tell me in the consultation.
Definitely. You ain't so gonna say it on live.
Okay.
Yeah, I charge $2 for VAWA cases. $2.
All right, no problem.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay. All right. Somebody say I have a question. You can request to come live. I'm just taking 2 more questions and then we're done. Hi, TikTok. Wow, 182 viewers on TikTok. What's going on, TikTok? Hey. Hey. Anybody have questions from TikTok? Okay. I'm just here 2 more minutes. If you have any questions, request to come live on Instagram. It's 6:30 now. So I'm about to log out so I can eat dinner and enjoy the cool weather. Okay. So just about 2 more minutes before I log out. Shout out to the best immigration lawyer I know. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Faye. Really appreciate you. Shout out to one of the best clients I ever had. Yeah. All right. I have a question. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Having trouble bringing this last person in. So I think we'll call it quits, right? So guys, that's it for today. If you know someone who needs this information, please share. Oh, I was going to tell y'all about the asylum case I had last week. Before I told you, I promised to tell y'all about that. So for those who weren't here in the beginning, I was explaining how even before I became VAWA Queen, like the cases that really taught me how to be a good lawyer were asylum cases. That I did asylum cases for Haitians who were stuck at the border, who were caught at the border during a mass exodus many years ago. Haitians that were coming in from Brazil. Whole nother story. Anyway, so I did a lot of Haitian asylum cases, and that's kind of how I learned how to do asylum, and actually very, very well. Anyway, so I use that to segue to the fact that I had an asylum case last week, and I said that, hey, generally I think I'm even better at asylum cases than VAWA cases, but for whatever reason, VAWA Queen has stuck, and VAWA Queen came later because I'm one of the pioneers who spoke about who educates people on VAWA to the brown community, okay, to the Caribbean and African community. Okay, but that was actually after the fact. Anywho, we filed an asylum application. I filed an asylum application. This is before I don't even think I even had staff that time. So I did this whole application, everything from beginning to end. We filed the asylum application 2018, 2017. It was scheduled for an interview last week. Count how many years that is. So many years ago. So we had an interview, very nice, very smooth interview. And honestly, I'm expecting an approval because it just went so well. Asylum interviews are still probably the longest ones, though, compared to the other ones that I've had. They're usually longer than green card through marriage cases. Usually they're longer than VAWA cases. So it was long compared, especially my VAWA interviews. Sometimes we're out of there in like 10 minutes. So it was super long. They do drill every part of the application. They're very thorough. They go from front to back of the application. They go over the declaration. If you had a declaration affidavit, they go over your supporting evidence. It was long. But long story short, at the very end, it went well. So I'm just saying this to say, please, asylum is still an option for you. I just wanted to mention that again. Like right now, they do have some restrictions on the asylum cases saying that, hey, any new cases, they're not going to make a decision right now. But guys, don't let that stop you. Last week was a big encouragement for me that, hey, asylum is still very much a possibility. the kind of person that could apply for asylum and win an asylum case is someone who genuinely fled from their home country because of unrest. That's the best way I can put it to you. It could be political unrest, civil unrest. It could be unrest on a personal level, unrest caused by your elders, your villagers, your village people wanting to kill you because you're going outside the traditional norms, because maybe you're a woman and you're refusing female genital mutilation, if that's you, or maybe because you did undergo female genital mutilation, but it wasn't properly done according to them and they want to mutilate you. These are some examples of a good asylum case. Um, it could be because maybe you look different from those who normally in the tribe or in that area. Maybe you're albino, for instance, okay, and you were mistreated because of that. It could be because of something, in other words, that's kind of difficult for you to change. So usually it's based on things such as your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion. These are the four main categories that have been established since, I don't know, many 2,000 years or something is what I could say. Like for many years, these four categories can get you winning asylum application in almost any country. If you fled your home country because of your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion, you have a good asylum case. Actually, even in Canada, in most countries, even in Kenya, you'd have if you're like, there's a time we had Sudanese fleeing to Kenya. Even in Kenya, those are good grounds for asylum case. Now, where American law is different is that there's a fifth category of people who have fled their home country because of something they cannot easily change about themselves, and they belong to a group of people that's not one of those four. So it's not their race, it's not their nationality, it's not their religion, it's not their political opinion, but maybe something like their membership in a social group, like membership in a gang, or lack thereof. Okay, usually lack thereof is what we are talking about. Maybe they refuse to join a gang. Okay, it could also be membership in a particular sex. Okay, in other words, being a woman and you're refusing female genital mutilation, or you're refusing to get married off. These are good examples of a good asylum case. Of course, also sexual orientation. Okay, so these are just some of the things that come to mind. And then even sometimes it could be even just maybe your family. Maybe you just belong to a super cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy family. Okay, that believes in all sorts of maybe voodoo traditions, and you're not acquiescing. You're refusing your children to undergo this. Like I did an asylum case for a guy who well, I won't say which country he was from, but he was from a very traditional family that believes in witchcraft and things like that. And he was next in line to become like the priest of those demonic altars. He was Christian and he fled. That was a good asylum case. So that's a good example of a good asylum case. There was another guy too that married, I think, a different country. It married a woman from a different country. And by tradition, their women, they're supposed to be circumcised, they're supposed to be mutilated. And he refused for his wife and his children to be mutilated. So therefore, his life was in danger and they had to flee. Okay, first they fled to another country, then they fled here to the US. That was a good asylum case. So just a reminder, guys, that right now, asylum is still a possibility. And then I'm segueing and I'm finishing up by saying, right now is not the time for you to just sit on the sidelines. Guys, have something pending. That video, I'm going to share it. I think we're going to post it probably today, of the video of the ICE officer that was trying to threaten a guy, a small, slender guy, saying, hey, I want to break down your door if you don't open the door. I'm going to share a video where I'm making a commentary and saying, hey, another big protection that it will give you, even you yourself, it will make you feel comfortable if ICE is at the door, is if you know you have a pending application. So don't be one of those people that you don't have anything going on, like you have no application. Okay, and it's not even because you don't have any options, you're just scared. Believe it or not, there are people right now who are married to U.S. citizen or green card holders that are just have no application pending, nothing right now, just because they're scared. Don't be one of those people. Don't be one of those people who maybe you qualify for a T visa. Somebody forced you or raped you or made you do something against your will. And instead of using what you've actually what actually happened, it's not like you're making it up. You're using what actually happened to you on U.S. soil to get a green card. Instead of you consulting with a lawyer, you're just sitting on them. There's people who you are robbed at gunpoint or something like that here in the U.S. There's visas like U visa. Guys, have an application pending right now. It is not that time for you to have nothing absolutely pending. It is a big protection to you. I'm going to put my blazer on. I'm getting cold again. It's a big protection to you to have an application pending. Like, do that for yourself. Have an application pending. It helps you. It helps even just give you confidence when you're on the road, when you're driving, when you're going around, when you're getting to work, when you know that I have an application pending. Because the way it works is if you're detained, that's one of the first questions immigration lawyers we ask. Hey, does your family member have any application pending? I was talking about this last week on the live. I don't think I finished my sentence. I was talking about how someone called me last week, said one of their employees was picked up by ICE unexpectedly. Very, very good employee, just didn't show up. When they looked into it, they kept trying to find him, couldn't find him. Finally, when he got detained, he used his one free call and called his employer. And, long story short, he was detained. So then they call me. They say, hey, I know you do immigration, but do you do these kinds of cases? Anyway, the point of the story is my first question to them was, does the guy have any applications pending? They say, we don't think so. We don't know, but we don't think so. Secondly, I said, okay. Then I started to ask questions like, okay, what could he qualify for? Okay, do you know, has he ever experienced anything on U.S. soil? Okay, is he married? Okay, did he ever experience anything outside the U.S.? In other words, I just gave the guy a brief consultation to try to figure out how can his employee be helped, because it's one of the stellar employees they have in the company. But I was trying to figure out, okay, what can be done for this guy? So long story short, I'm telling you what every immigration lawyer is going to ask if somebody were to pick you up. God forbid, everybody's going to ask them, does your person have anything pending? Like, does your person have any application going on right now? And you don't want them to say no. You don't want them to say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And that leads me now to my next point, y'all. My philosophy is always think the best. Think that the best thing is going to happen. Never be afraid of ICE, by the way. There's a scripture that says, what I feared to me has happened to me. I don't know if that guy who asked me a question earlier about traveling is still here. There's a scripture that literally says, what I feared to me happened. What I feared, has happened to me. It's in Job. It's a scripture. So my philosophy in life is never fear anything and never think the worst. But you should be prepared for the worst situation. So don't fear ICE. Don't think they're coming for you, okay? Because if you think that long enough, you're going to produce it into being literally. Either one day your thoughts will trickle to what you're saying. You'll start saying, I think they're going to get me. They're going to get me. They're going to get me. Man, it's like I'm preaching right now. I just remembered one of my good friends. My good guy friends. He told me this story that still haunts me. He had a friend that was caught by ICE, the first administration, during the first administration by Trump. His friend got caught by ICE. So I asked him, I remember till this day, this is many years ago, like 5 years ago, I think, right? During Trump's first administration. I remember asking him, yo, so how did they get your friend? How'd they get him? He said, man, I was telling my boy to come see you to blah, 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 blah. I was telling him to come see you, but he was saying he's coming next week. He was coming next week. He said, but you know what? After they got him, he called me when he got back to Africa. He told me, man, I kept saying that they're going to get me, right? And he said, me and him just laughed and were kind of sad about it. Like, yeah, I kept saying that ICE is going to get me. So he said his friend kept saying, ICE is going to get me. He kept saying, I'm so tired. He kept saying, I'm so tired of America, man. I'm so stressed out. I'm so tired of this place. I'm so tired of this stress. He kept saying out his mouth. And he literally produced it into action, because the story about how they caught him was the crazy. I don't even want to go into details because that person will know who I'm talking about. But that guy had no business getting caught by ICE. Let me just tell you that. He had no business getting detained. So the story about how he got detained was literally a produce. Yeah, it was literally a produce of what he had been saying. Literally a direct byproduct of what he had been saying, his fear, and how he was saying, I'm tired of this country, I'm tired of the stress. I think they're gonna get me. And they did get him. So don't fear that ICE is going to get you. But in case they want to get you, have your documents prepared, have a case pending. Make sure there should be someone here in the U.S. that you trust that has your documents, also a copy of your documents, and can get them to a trusted lawyer, or can use them to get you out on bond. Somebody should have that. There was a time, I don't do this right now. There's a time I used to do a lot of bond proceedings. That's a story for another day. That's also another practice area that I did a lot of when I was a fresh lawyer. Okay, I did a lot of bond proceedings, and I remember people used to call me like late at night. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do that anymore. Because when people get detained late at night, early in the morning sometimes. So people would call me late at night, like 10 something, 11. Hey, my brother just got picked up. My daughter got picked up. My son, whatever. Somebody got picked up. Hey, can you get out on bond? Okay. Dang, I've lost my train of thought. I was going there. Okay, so, and I remember I used to always ask the family member, okay, so do you know does your person have any applications pending? Oh, I don't really know. I don't have the information. Okay. Do you know where their documents are? I don't know. They never told me. Okay. So in other words, it created so much work and created such a delay that a lot of people didn't have documents to show what their person could be in ICE detention for. A lot of people didn't know. So there should be somebody that you trust that knows exactly what you filed for. If you have any application that's currently processing right now, someone should know that. Just one person, not many. Have someone have that information. Someone should have a copy of all your documents. So if ICE picks you up or detains you, somebody should have a copy of those things. Even you're a citizen, somebody should be able to, in other words, say, okay, I can vouch for this person. This person has this type of immigration status. This person has this type of application pending. Somebody should have these documents. So be prepared for the worst situation, but always think the best. That's my philosophy. Don't be afraid of ICE. But if they come for you though, you need to be ready for them. Okay. That's my philosophy. It helps me a lot. Like, have no fear. But if they are coming for you though, they need to be able to think twice. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody said, yes, definitely what I feared has happened to me too. It is well. It is well, my sister. It is well. Okay, so guys, sometimes I end up talking about life. And, by the way, if you think about it, this doesn't even apply in immigration studies. It applies in life, period. If you've ever feared something, you know that if you kept fearing it, you caused it to existence. So I'm preaching to myself now too. It can be so easy to be said to when, it's easier said than done, so sometimes the fears that we have can be legitimate, maybe because, you don't have papers or because you haven't gotten your green card yet. It's a legitimate, it's something legitimate that's making you fear, right? But you, especially right now, should do your mental work. Spend time in the Bible. I'm a huge believer. Spend time in the Bible. Lift yourself up with as much positivity that fear is not your automatic reaction to things. Okay? Lift yourself up so much that you just go around thinking, you know what? God's got me. I made it all these years. ICE can't get me now. It's been my real experience in life and in law that truly people who think like that, nothing ever happens to them. True life story. I mean, I don't know if there's some stories I'm like, I don't know if I should share life, but you know, I went to school here, like college, and I remember there were times I was so broke. There were times I would be on the road without a driver's license. I remember that situations like that because I couldn't afford insurance. And I remember I used to just pray and say, God, help me. Hope the papa don't get me. Make sure they don't get me. I just always believed that, look, I'm going to make it home. And I always did make it home. I really did. I'm not telling you to break the law, but I'm just saying literally what you fear happens. What you fear happens. And I just pray that this little, this little talk right here, if you heard nothing else, I hope this sinks in. Please don't go around fearing ICE, because then ICE will get you. Don't go around like, I spend so much of my time these days just counseling clients about this fear aspect. And I'm talking about, sometimes I get calls even from people who are now citizens. Wafula, I'm worried. I think ICE is going to come get me. So that tells you the fear sometimes, if you let it can even extend beyond what's reasonable. You ain't got nothing to fear as a citizen. You are a citizen. You are a green card holder. What are you fearing? Yes, I know it's happened to a very few small percentage of green card holders that maybe they were mixed in with somebody who didn't have papers, but the chances of that happening to you are very, very small. Why would you be fearing that you're going to get detained if you already have a green card? So that tells you that your fear, if you don't check it, it can go beyond what's reasonable. And I know green card holders that are afraid of being deported, have never been arrested in their lives. I'm talking about people who don't even have a traffic ticket. You don't have a traffic ticket, you have a green card, and you're fearing ICE getting you. Make it make sense. You are a U.S. citizen. You don't have any traffic tickets. You don't have any arrest. You have never committed a crime a day in your life, and you're fearing that ICE is going to get you. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, in other words, let's all check our fears. Check it somewhere. Make sure, in other words, it's reasonable. Check your fears and say, look, you know what? I'm not going to fear. I'm just going to do, I'm going to do right. When I'm outside, I'm driving to work, I'm driving to necessary places. I'm not going to harm anyone on U.S. soil. I'm not going to commit any crimes. And look, I'm going to trust God to take care of me until the day I become a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. I'm going to trust God for that. And God will do it. So anyway, I didn't mean to take it to church. Bye, guys. Share this video. See you another time. I hope you learned something. Hope you're encouraged. Share. Bye. Bye. What do you think about Jerry? You want to schedule a consultation? Sorry, it's on Facebook. You want to schedule a consultation, sir? I'll help you. I can't remember. I can't remember I don't remember all 75 countries. So I don't remember if Algeria is in the 75 suspension list. So give me a call for the person asking about that. Somebody said Avaca is almost 3.5 years. Give me a call. You want to talk about extension? So I don't know. Did you have a 2-year conditional green card first? Not sure. Anyway, guys, give me a call. I need to go now. Schedule a conversation. Give me a call. Bye, guys. You miss my dancing. I know. I'll be back to dancing soon.